Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I've got a new backdrop here for my video today. I found this down in my basement, forgot I had it down here, and thought it would make a decent little backdrop. It's from the 2012 Kansas City All-Star Game. I don't believe this picture was taken from the actual All-Star Game. Actually, I know it wasn't. Maybe it was from opening day or July 4th or something like that. But anyway, I thought it would make a nice little backdrop. Anyway, that's not the main point of this video. The main point of this video is to continue my series that I posted a while back of the top prospects who could possibly make an impact in the 2020 season this year. You're starting to see some of them get some playing time in spring training, and in a previous video, if you search for it in my history, you'll see I posted the 10 position players to look for to make an impact this season. And now I want to look at the list of 10 pitching prospects who I feel like could make an impact in the 2020 season. Now, this isn't going to be like the top 10 pitching prospects in all the minor leagues, just because some of those guys may not make an impact or may not get called up this year. I got this list from MLB.com's top 100 prospects, and then I found pitchers who they thought could possibly have an ETA, estimated time of arrival, of this season, the 2020 season. So I've got 10 pitchers selected. I'll give you a little bit of information on them, and here we go. In the number 10 spot, I have this young man, Sixto Sanchez, if I can get it from glaring in the light. Sixto Sanchez, this says Philadelphia. He's no longer on Philadelphia. This is from Panini Elite Extra Edition from a couple years ago. Now you see it's numbered out of 100. I purchased this at a card show. Anyway, he was part of the trade that sent JT Realmuto from Philadelphia to Miami. Sanchez went from Philadelphia to Miami, and Realmuto went from Miami to Philadelphia. So he's a big pitching prospect, the main centerpiece of that trade. He could be a guy who gets to play in the Major League rotation for Miami this year, especially as they are starting to hopefully turn the corner from being a non-competitive team to a team that can win more games at the Major League level. In the number 9 spot, I have this young man, Ian Anderson. I believe he was taken 3rd overall a couple years ago. Obviously, Atlanta is one of the favorites in the AL East as the defending AL East champions, but he has a pretty good pedigree. He's put up some pretty decent numbers in the minor leagues, and if there are injuries to the rotation or if he just really impresses, he could be a guy who gets a call-up at some point through the year. I don't know if he would start the season in the rotation, but I haven't been following the Braves too closely, to be honest. In my number 8 spot, this is a young man who's a little bit overshadowed in some circles just because of his teammate, which we'll get to in a little bit. This is Matt Manning. This is obviously the 2016 first Bowman paper card. Matt Manning, I believe, is... and almost all these guys are just absolutely tall gentlemen. Look at this, 6'6". It's almost hard to find a pitcher that is not at least 6'3" anymore. Ian Anderson, if I look here, he's 6'3". He's probably on the shorter side. I don't know if it'll say on Sixto Sanchez's card. Oh, it will, 6 foot. So he is actually very short for a pitcher. If you're only 6 foot, you better be able to just throw some absolute gas if you're going to pitch in the major leagues. Anyway, Matt Manning is one of the top 2 pitching prospects for the Tigers. He gets overshadowed a little bit by the guy you'll see next on this list, but he's actually put up some very good numbers, and there's a chance that he could force his way into the rotation of Detroit. I don't expect him to start the season with the Tigers by any means, but at some point in the middle of the year, if he's having a good season, I could see Matt Manning making his Major League debut for the Tigers. Okay, number 7, I just spoke of his teammate. Most people know of this guy, Casey Mize, who was the number 1 overall pick. He was undrafted out of high school and then went to Auburn and just absolutely lit the SEC on fire and became the number 1 overall pick. Talk about quite a journey, right? Undrafted out of high school all the way to the number 1 overall pick. Casey Mize, if you know anything about Casey Mize, he has a devastating splitter that is his best pitch and one of the best pitches in all the minor leagues. He's a guy, along with Matt Manning, that is expected to be the number 1 and number 2 punch for many, many years to come for the Tigers as they look to rebound from their rebuilding phase that they've kind of been going through over the past, couple seasons as they've gotten rid of some of their older players and tried to go a little bit younger. Okay, next on my list, I included a Kansas City Royal. I don't know if this is a homer pick or not, but Brady Singer. Just an absolute bulldog of a pitcher. You can search on YouTube videos of Brady Singer getting upset on the mound because the umpire was about to call a rain delay, and he was just absolutely fuming. He went to University of Florida, was their first round pick, I believe, in 2017 when they selected 3 or 4 college pitchers all in a row at the beginning of the draft. The number 5 spot in the Kansas City rotation is still kind of up in arms, or up for grabs, and a lot of people think that Singer may have the inside track over guys like Jackson Kowar, Chris Bubick, Daniel Lynch. Don't know if I'm pronouncing all those names right, but Singer could be a guy who starts the season with Kansas City, or you know how sometimes it goes, teams don't need a 5th starter for a couple weeks, so he may start it at AAA and then eventually work his way up to the major leagues this year as they start to hopefully see some positive results from that 2017 draft class. Okay, the next guy. As we enter the number 5 pick, he's starting to get some pretty good press lately. Nate Pearson. He is up in the minor league, not in the minor league camp, he's in the major league camp right now. I just read last night where he, in his debut for spring training, struck out the side, pitched 1 inning, struck out all 3 batters, and it was legit major league batters that he struck out. I can't remember off the top of my head who it was, but they were not just, minor league young guys. They were legit major league players that he struck out. Nate Pearson. If you don't know about Nate Pearson, he kind of came to fame when he threw 104 miles an hour, I believe, in like an Arizona Fall League All-Star game or something. So he has some absolute gas, probably the number 1 fastball in all the minor leagues. But he's also got some good off-speed pitches. And Toronto, guys like Vladdy, Kevin Biggio, Bo Bichette, those offensive players are the people that, a lot of us already know for Toronto. But Nate Pearson is their best pitching prospect and could be up with the major leagues pretty soon. I doubt he'll start the season up with the big league club, but give him a few months, a few weeks, maybe even. But I expect you'll see Nate Pearson in the major leagues, and he has been dominant so far in the minors. Okay, in the number 4 spot. Now, these top 4 guys are not necessarily the people I feel like are going to be the best. They are good, but these top 4 are players who I probably believe will be able to get to the major leagues quicker, maybe start the season with the majors, or definitely even make their imprint known a little bit quicker than some of the guys I've already talked about. In the number 4 spot, we have A.J. Puck. If you know A.J. Puck, left-handed pitcher, he came up at the end of the year last year out of the bullpen as the A's were making their push for the playoffs. He even pitched in the wild card game and did an all right job. A.J. Puck has a nice arsenal, fastball, slider, all sorts of dominant pitches. And I really think Oakland is, I think they're my favorite to win the AL West this year, especially with all the cloud of everything hanging over Houston. I think Oakland is the team to beat. And anyway, he could be one of their main contributors. They already have a pretty good rotation with Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas coming back off of the suspension. And Mike Fiers is still there. I think Puck could be really good. His control is the thing that's a little bit a concerning point for some scouts, but he has all the talent in the world. Along with this young man, his teammate, Jesus Luzardo, who also came up at the end of last year. He was one of the top pitching prospects in all of the minor leagues last season, and then he messed up his shoulder in spring training and never pitched until the last couple weeks of the season. And the A's brought him back from the injured list just in time. They pitched him out of the bullpen. He pitched a couple innings in the wild card game and just was absolutely dominant. In this card, obviously, this is his 2016 first Bowman Chrome. This card, he's in a Washington uniform, but he is definitely on the Oakland A's. Those of you all who've purchased 2020 packs of 2020 Tops, you've probably pulled his card already. He got traded from Washington to Oakland in the Sean Doolittle and Ryan Madsen trade. So that's how he got over to Oakland after starting his career as a Washington National. All right, now we're down to the top 2, and both these guys are top prospects as well. This guy, here's your 2020 Tops, Dustin May. Look at that hair. I mean, come on, guys. He can't do much better than that. Dustin May came up last year and pitched a little bit in the second half of the season for the Dodgers. There's still some spots open, especially now that the Dodgers are looking to fill some holes in their rotation with Ryu leaving and Maeda getting traded. Obviously, Buehler and Kershaw are their 1 and 2 horses, but Dustin May definitely has a shot to pitch all year in the LA Dodgers rotation, and with that offense and that team behind him, he could very easily put up some really nice numbers because he's a talented pitcher in his own right. Dustin May, Ginger Guard, I believe is what they called him last year, is in my number 2 spot. And then number 1, I don't know. I just like this card, and I think this guy's going to be good as well. For the San Diego Padres, Mackenzie Gore. If I can keep it from glaring too much in the light. This is a refractor I picked up at the last card show I went to. Mackenzie Gore, I believe, is in the top 5. Maybe the number 1 overall pitching prospect in the minor leagues right now. Top 5 overall prospect and the top pitcher, I believe, in the minor leagues, according to MLB.com. Big lefty, high school guy that they drafted, and has just been shoving on the mound ever since he's been in the professional ranks. So he's a pretty polished player. Scouts give him really high grades all the way across the board for his fastball, curveball, changeup, everything. And I feel like he could make an impact, kind of like Chris Paddock did last year. You remember Chris Paddock just kind of came out of nowhere and just lit it on fire in the spring training of 2019, earned his way into the rotation, and then was just a buzzsaw that first few months of the season before he got hurt. And I think Mackenzie Gore could be in that same mold, especially as San Diego is desperate to get things going and actually become a relevant playoff contender again. So this is 2017 Mackenzie Gore, first Bowman Chrome refractor. Pretty nice card I picked up at the card show. And there you have it, guys. 10 pitching prospects who could make an impact and probably will make an impact in the MLB 2020 season. Most of these guys, I believe, will get called up at some point this year. Maybe some of them down here at the bottom of the list, maybe not towards the All-Star break or after the All-Star break, but definitely those guys on the top half should spend quite a bit of the season in the big league level. So thanks for watching the video. I'm going to try to wrap it up here. I'm getting kind of lengthy here, almost 12 minutes. Thanks for watching the video. If you feel free to subscribe and comment if you like the content. I've got another card show coming up this weekend. I hope I'm going to be able to attend. I'm not quite sure yet, but if I do happen to make it to the card show, I will make sure to make a video so you guys can see what I was able to find. So once again, thanks so much for your support. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a great one. Bye.